Tembimbongo's family bids a final farewell. Her husband and children have been left traumatized by her execution-style killing.
Two assailants came into the house. While one distracted her husband, the other went straight for Tembimbongo, pumping 4 bullets into her body in front of their children.
Mbongo is one of 13 ANC members to be killed in KwaZulu-Natal ahead of the 2016 local government elections. She was an ANC councillor candidate for Ward 6 in Newcastle, and her name was at the top of the list. But her candidacy also triggered speculation about who would benefit when she becomes councillor, which led to death threats.
Kuthiwa mina nawe siyadlisana. Sidlisana yini? Kuthiwa siyadlisana mina nawe. Ngakho mina sidlisana yini nawe kuthiwa ay abantu abaqala ukubheka phakathi kwami nawe ngathi kukhona siphana khona sadlisana noma mhlawumbe wena uzongidlisa amasongenile. Mina comrade uzongidlisa kanjani ngoba usase iward candidate usase nominee awawini.
No African National Congress ongabulala abantu besifazane zigebengu ngoba phela lo mbutho wethu kungena ngisho amaselesele nezinyoka phakathi sifuna ukuashorisha umndeni singenelwe zinyoka ngaphakathi zishaya amaqakala ukuze kuphele lo khongolosi
ekade esho uhlalo we-Women's League ukuthi singena sibaningi kuze kungene namasela thina okwethu ukuthi ake sithi asambeni soshintsha quantity ibe quality ukuze abantu bengena bazi ukuthi baze ini hayi labo bangena sebengenela ihlalo.
A task team has since been set up by the ANC to work alongside state security agencies to investigate the political killings.
We want all the perpetrators to be apprehended, and we don't want only those that have pulled the trigger, but we want all the mastermind and those that are plotting in dark corners to be arrested so that we close this chapter once and for all.
Independent researcher David Bruce says political killings are no longer exclusively between rival political parties.
What has been identified is that, and notably within the ANC, is that internal party rivalry seems to account for most of the deaths of ANC members in current-day South Africa.
Research tells us that unless there's high quality and independent police investigations, political killings will spread to other provinces. To Port Elizabeth now, where Cecilia Mtati is number 1 on the ANC list for Ward 15 in the New Brighton Township. Last month, she was watching TV with her 10-year-old son in the living room when 2 men broke into her home.
He stood near the toilet. He said, I want Cecilia. I look at him. He grabbed a gun here. He shot at me. Then I look at him. Then I dive. Then when the bullet turned around, I took the heater and threw to him. Then again, he went to the kitchen. Then in the kitchen again, he shot at me. Then I dive again. I took the heater. Then I follow him with the heater. He ran outside. Then I follow him again. He ran outside.
Party leaders were quick to look internally.
We were shocked to hear the attack on one of our ward councillor candidates, Comrade Liam Mtati. We are of the view that when the ANC takes decisions, everybody has to abide by those decisions, and we have to follow in those that have been appointed to represent the ANC structures and wards in all the wards of the Nelson Mandela Bay.
Politically motivated killings in the run-up to these local government elections have been particularly severe. But political assassinations are not a new phenomenon in South Africa. Jimmy Mohlala was killed in 2009 and Semi Mpatlanyane in 2010. Their families are convinced the reasons were political.
Mama Mohlala, usikhombise nje ukuthi that day ubaba Mohlala ubekuphi when this whole thing happened.
Imoto yakhe bekayipakela. Then umntanakhe lo bamdubule kanye naye bekangenisa enye imoto phakathi egarage. Yes, and then magehla yena, according to him, makasitshela uthe magehla wabona abantu abayi2 bemeceleni kwaba bakhe. Then labantu bathi uzo ubabakhe athi take the keys, leave me alone.
A scuffle ensues between Jimmy Mohlala and the two men. Mohlala and the son tried to escape from the assailants, running into the house through the garage.
Wemala, it's like this.
From the garage.
Yes, so umntanakhe bekemila. Shothi naye angazi kumbe ubambile umnyango. Yes.
The attackers fire 2 shots at the door, wounding the son in the leg. But her husband was fatally wounded in the chest. Jimmy Mohlala was the speaker at the Mbombela local municipality. He had exposed corruption related to the awarding of the tender to build the Mbombela Stadium, one of the venues for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. His murder on the 4th of January 2009 came as no surprise to his friend and colleague, Sipho Siwela. He had been with Mohlala earlier that day.
The reason for his murder, I believe, that it was to silence him around the shenanigans that was taking place in the building of the Mbombela Stadium.
Similar to Mohlala's killing, Xoli Mngambi was also shot inside his home. The communication head of the Mpumalanga Arts and Culture Department put up a brave fight against a gunman who had entered his bedroom over the balcony early on the 8th of January 2010. Mngambi was shot a number of times as he tried to ward off the assailant. He took his last breath on the balcony.
This is where he lay. He was here. And the gun, because we had this canvas, and the gun, I think they struggled with the gun. It fell and it dropped somewhere here. This is where they found the gun.
At the time of his death, Mngambi had compiled a dossier for Public Protector Xoli Mngambi. It related to corrupt payments within the province's Department of Arts and Culture. His wife, also an employee of the provincial government, is adamant that her husband's murder was to silence him.
He was fighting corruption. I know that there were payments which went out whereby his signature was forged, and the person who did that was rewarded a directorship. I know them. I know the person. I know what happened.
There are striking similarities about the manner in which police handled both the Mngambi and Mohlala cases.
At first, this thing was directed at me. It was said I killed my husband. I was harassed by the police. And later on, it wasn't me.
The police torture us with my children. They say it's us that we kill Mr. Mohlala. They torture us. They took us into the bush.
My understanding of investigation, the first suspect should have been myself, Dr. Simon, because we were the last people who were with him. To date, there was no police who ever came to interview us. To date. Ordinarily, when you do an investigation, you cannot then say those people who were there, you don't want to talk to them. We have never been interviewed. Actually, the only interview that I have given to police, I forced it on them.
Even more painful for the Mngambi family, the gun that was used to kill the father of 3 belonged to a local policeman. Unexpectedly, 3 foreign nationals were arrested, and it wasn't long before the case fizzled out.
Through our case, I came to realize how much can be covered up. Because I can tell you, if God willing could open the sky now, where I believe the heat came from, I am 100% that it could not go the other way around. It would go straight to that place where I think the heat came from.
Are you at liberty to tell us where you think this heat came from?
No, I'm not. I fear for my life. I fear for my life. But the police, the detectives, I did tell them.
Where to go?
Yes, they do have my statement. I told them.
Do you think they're fearful of going there, or do you think they know that they can't go there?
I know now they are fearful, or they can't. I know now. In the manner in which they have done their investigations, I came to realize that they can't go there.
The murders of Mohlala and Mpatlanyane happened in the month of January 2009 and 2010, respectively. Speaking to journalists for the first time after his long stay in hospital due to what he said was poisoning, Mpumalanga Premier David Mabuza made a chilling revelation about murders that took place in January.
A certain person was bought to say this person must say D.D. Mabuza has hired me to go and kill so and so, kill so and so. This person is still here, he's here in the province. No one is interested in that because finally I discovered that and I know all the people who were involved there. One day it will emerge and the people of this province will get clarity exactly. Because if they can lay hands in the information that I know, privileged information, it will rest my case here. You'll know exactly who is who here. The kind of concoction that is here, you'll know it one day. And that day is drawing closer, closer. Very close, it's coming. You will know. I was labeled as a killer. The project was called Project January 8. You'll know that project one day. Remember the name Project January 8. Because all these people that they say I have killed, they should all of them die in January. If possible, they must die on the 8th of January. The plan was that every January, someone must die.
Professor Raymond Satner is a former anti-apartheid activist and has written extensively on political killings.
What we do have is police who are dependent on the politicians who may well have committed that murder and other murders under pressure not to find the real murderer.
The intensity of the competition in ANC structures over councillor positions again manifesting in the lead up to the local government elections.
I'm a councillor ngithi no. The reason that you can see that there are councillors who can fight and challenge a system and complain that the system was not followed, it tells you how matured we are.
Analysts say senior ANC leaders have lost their moral authority and therefore cannot be relied upon to intervene.
Fact that in us, people can say, we don't agree, blah, blah, blah. We address the problems.
It is becoming a joke They say all these things, good things. They always say them at conferences, at wherever they have opportunities to stand in front of cameras, and they say all these things. But these things are never followed by action. They are never followed by action. So their words mean nothing to some degree.
For the foreseeable future, I don't see this stopping, but I think it's important for citizens to understand that they need to unite.